how would you assess all this so far, right? We got Amazon still to come, and Nvidia is a little way, but I think we have a good read on what's happening.
I think the biggest takeaway so far, Scott, is we could have had probably, 3 or 4 markets in turmoil specials at 7 o'clock in the last month. And yet, here we are, NASDAQ up on the year, other major indices up on the year. This is a market that wants to go higher, despite, put-call ratio being so high. Second takeaway, I'd say, on the Mag 7 specifically, Scott, though, is that, the results have been fantastic overall. However, as you kind of have alluded to earlier in the show, I think we're sort of hitting against the upper limits of valuations with these companies, and so it has to come, as you said, from the earnings themselves to drive these stocks higher, and the multiples are kind of stretched. So that's tough for a name like Google, obviously, as we saw last night. But it's going to be, you're going to have to pick and choose your spots with the Mag 7 in 2025, is my belief. It's just not going to be straight up the way it has the last 2 years.
In terms of valuation, I understand the argument, but Alphabet's like 20 times. It's 20 times forward PE. Meta's not historically rich, is it? Nvidia, that's your stock. It certainly, people don't make that argument about Nvidia.
No, I'd say like Tesla and Microsoft are kind of the two most extreme from a valuation perspective, but some would say they deserve to be because of their business model and because of their growth prospects. A name like Google has kind of been the laggard in the pack. And that's only really changed in the last couple of months of the year when they came out with their Willow quantum chip, and it really kind of shook people up as, hey, here's a whole new category that we never factored into our sum of the parts for Google. So you're right. You gotta look at each name specifically. However, in general, I would say a lot of them have tracked up. Apple is a name that's tracked up. So out of the 7, I like Nvidia the most. I own it right now. I like Meta, and although I don't own it, and I don't own Tesla. I don't own Apple, but those are the 4 names I expect to traffic in this year in 2025.
Okay, a couple questions regarding all that. You sold Tesla, in fact, a few weeks ago. Did you do it because of the valuation issues that you have?
Well, two reasons, really. Like, incredible run since the election. It's straight up, basically. And so I just felt like it was time to consolidate some of those gains. But obviously, knew that there was this potential for kind of looming China tariffs, which has played out just in the last day or so. And obviously, out of the Mag 7, Apple and Tesla are going to be the 2 names that kind of hurt the most on fears about that going on for a long time. I don't think it will. I think what we've learned this week is that President Trump wants deals. He wants to log wins. He sees Mexico and Canada as wins. I think he wants to log a deal with China. And I think what was probably most promising on that front is the reaction of the Chinese to the tariffs and what they sort of counter-proposed in terms of retaliatory tariffs. It could have gone much stronger, much steeper. They didn't. That signals to me that they want a deal as well.
So you mentioned Nvidia. How are you reconciling this DeepSeek news in your own mind as it relates to the stock? What you think it's worth? Are you as resolute in that belief as you were pre-DeepSeek news?
Well, DeepSeek, definitely was a shot across the bow for, American tech. And I would say most of all to a name like OpenAI, because it really sort of put it under scrutiny. It's not enough just to raise billions of dollars from venture capitalists who have an endless checkbook and just think that you can spend, and you're going to have the best models. I think what DeepSeek showed is that ingenuity and kind of necessity being the mother of invention, and how you optimize your different algorithms to get the most out of your software can mean just as much as the Nvidia chips themselves. So I think I saw more of a threat to the big LLMs, Anthropic and such. But for Nvidia is such a poster child for AI in general. And so we have the double ETFs, the triple ETFs. So it just was such a shocker that it really took it down. I stuck with it because I believed it was overdone. And despite the fact that we have to work smarter at how we build these models, I don't think there's anybody who's going to, pass on the opportunity to get their hands on some Blackwell chips or Rubin chips next year if they have the opportunity. So I think the order book for Nvidia is going to show to be really strong. We've seen that with the Google CapEx guide and the Microsoft CapEx guide. So I expect Nvidia to be just fine.